I've been to Edinburgh 3 times. The first time was in 1985 with a friend from university. This is me posing by the castle entrance wearing a huge fluffy jumper/sweater. It was summer. It was cold. The second time was in 2010 with my family. Here we are posing by the same entrance. And yes, I am still wearing today that same magenta jacket from 2010. Aren't I a good minimalist who is wearing her clothes forever and not succumbing to fast fashion trends? The third visit to the city was this summer, on our wee trip to Scotland. This was as close as we got to the castle entrance this time. We loved visiting the gorgeous city of Edinburgh, but as always, I declared that I have to come back, and next time I simply must stay longer. In my opinion, Edinburgh is like London, Paris, New York, or other big cities full of culture and history. You need several days there to take in all the beautiful buildings, great food, and loads of fun things to do. We ended up having only 4 hours to tour the city this time, so we ran around and saw all that we could and ate some yummy things along the way. Here is a recap of our favorite Edinburgh things. My most favorite thing is the castle. I love the majestic way that Edinburgh Castle sits atop a giant rock above the city. And when you go up to the castle, the view of the Edinburgh city below is wonderful. When we visited, there were even magenta flowers growing on the hillside around the castle, which was a nice bonus. The Royal Mile is really fun to wander, from its start at the top by the castle to its conclusion at the bottom at the Palace of Holyrood House. Holyrood House is the official residence of the British monarch in Scotland. The adjacent Queen's Gallery is where royal artwork is on display. We had dinner at the famous Deacon Brodie's Tavern on the Royal Mile the evening before our Edinburgh tour. If you haven't seen the video of the dinner and me trying haggis, I invite you to check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. Somewhere along the Royal Mile, you are bound to encounter a piper. Hearing someone play the bagpipes is something you gotta do on a trip to Scotland, and I enjoy it every time. It reminds me of my days growing up in Dundee, Illinois, that is. Another place I love in Edinburgh is the National Museum of Scotland. I didn't get to visit this year, but my last time there, my son and I had a wonderful time exploring the museum, including seeing the famous Dolly, the cloned sheep. The Sir Walter Scott Monument is another landmark I love in Edinburgh. Located in the city center, it is an impressive reminder of Scotland's most famous novelist. It's actually the world's tallest monument honoring an author. I learned a lot more about Sir Walter Scott when we visited his stunning house in the Scottish borders called Abbotsford. Please be sure you are subscribed and click that bell so you see that video when it's published. Speaking of monuments, this is another famous landmark in Edinburgh. It's Greyfriars Bar. The commemorative statue in front of the pub depicts Greyfriars Bobby, a Skye Terrier who, as the story goes, demonstrated unflagging loyalty by spending 14 years guarding the grave of his deceased owner until his own death in 1872. In general, we love the architecture in Edinburgh. It has a distinctive look that somehow magically looks lovely in all kinds of weather. If you are there in the rain or on a cloudy day or even the snow, it still looks atmospheric and stunning. The gray sandstone seen throughout the city seems to tie it together in a cohesive look, despite the varying architectural styles. One thing that stood out to me on this trip was just how many pointy spires there are all over Edinburgh. St. Giles Cathedral is a magnificent building on a large square with government buildings around it. The cathedral has a special connection to the magenta otter tribe because our very own Lorraine was christened there. And her husband Colin pointed out this beautiful monument nearby, which is called the Mercat Cross, an important landmark which designates the location as the original market square in Edinburgh. It is topped with a unicorn, the national animal of Scotland. And lower on the monument, you can see this seal, which depicts the Scottish unicorn and the English lion. Victoria Street is an Edinburgh location we discovered on this trip. It is one of the most Instagrammable spots in the city, with its row of brightly colored shop fronts. So, of course, we had to snap a photo there. After all our running around, we were feeling a bit peckish. But knowing that there would be an indulgent dessert in our future, we decided to eat something healthy first. At the end of Victoria Street, we stopped at a vegetarian place called Hula Juice Cafe for a slice of avocado toast and beet toast. After getting our 5 a day, it was time for dessert. So we made our way back toward the castle. We had to pop into this shop, Sophie's, because Dara loved the magenta flowers on it, and Ian always wants an ice cream cone at every available opportunity. So I had an ice cream cone with some of their Scottish tablet ice cream, as well as a scoop of the Isle of Skye sea salt and caramel. It was delicious. And of course, I had to do the whole Instagram photo of the ice cream cone in front of the castle, experimenting with focusing on the ice cream, focusing on the castle. If these flavors sound good to you, I urge you to watch our Scottish treat tasting video where we try Scottish tablet and other sea salt caramel treats from Scotland. I'll also put a link of that in the description. Another thing I like about Edinburgh is the shops with tartan plaid. I know it's touristy, but I just love looking at all the clan tartans. And then there was something really exciting that I discovered on this trip: otter money. I just want to show off the 10-pound note of Scottish money to show you that it has 2 otters swimming on it. So if you ever want to get me a gift, this is what I want for the rest of my life: 10-pound notes with otters on them. Ian insisted on taking a photo in front of the Edinburgh Meat Market arches with his hook'em horns. Please stay tuned for next week's video exploring the Scottish borders, including Sir Walter Scott's house, Abbotsford, and the gorgeous Flores Castle. Thanks so much for watching, and do something good in the world today.